on Meeples. They're going to be taken over by the last night on Earth. Are you ready to survive?
Hi, welcome to episode 5 of Meeples on Meeples, a podcast dedicated to the search for the ever-elusive hot female fighter fighters.
As long as we're talking about mythological creatures, I'd like to throw it out there for unicorns too.
Well played.
Today, if you've been following our website or our Facebook page, you'll know that our game of the week for this week was Last Night on Earth. Last Night on Earth is the quintessential humans versus zombies game. While there are different scenarios to the game, the basic idea of it is that the heroes need to survive a certain amount of time, usually between 15 and 17 rounds, without getting completely overtaken by the zombies. There's a few, in the most basic game, there's a few win scenarios for the zombies. The zombies win if they kill 4 heroes. The zombies also win if the heroes run through the entire deck, or in some cases, the zombies win if the counter reaches 0, or the day counter over here reaches 0. And the heroes have not accomplished what they were supposed to for that scenario. We usually play with 4 to 5 people. So typically we have 2 people controlling the zombies and 2 to 3 people controlling the heroes. The zombies, split the zombies into 2 pools, green or brown.
If you're on the audio cast, this isn't going to help you at all.
I'm holding up green.
And they each control, I believe it's 8 separate zombies on their own.
7.
Or is it 7 zombies on their own.
6. Are we missing one?
I didn't put them all.
7. Yep, they're all there.
So the 2 zombie characters...
No, that is only 6. I counted one twice. Okay.
So the 2 zombie players control the 7 to 8 zombies on their own. The hero characters then have 4 heroes on the board at all time. They can split that up however they want. If it's 2 people playing heroes, it's 2 heroes each. If it's 3 people playing heroes, you'd have 1 person with 2, the other 2 with 1 hero. The heroes have their own cards that give their picture, which match their little player, as well as their hit points and any special abilities they have. Their hit points run out. Of course, they're dead. At certain points, once zombies kill heroes, they take those heroes over as hero zombies. They get the card, and so they have heroes that have 3 hit points instead of the normal 1 that they come with.
Do we want to cover these real quick?
Yeah, each side has a turn summary. I guess I can do zombies if you want to explain the heroes.
That's fine.
I normally play as the zombies. Zombies have 6 things they normally do. They move the sun tracker, which is the counter that keeps track of how many turns you've gone through. Again, if that reaches 0, in a lot of circumstances, the heroes lose. Then they draw new zombie cards. Each zombie player draws 2 cards, or if there's only 1 zombie player, he'd draw 4. Then they roll to spawn zombies. You roll a dice, and if you roll more dice than zombies you have on the board, that means at the end of your turn, you're going to get to put new zombies out. Finally, you move your zombies, and then you fight. You fight whenever there's a zombie in the same place as a hero. I guess one thing on the moving of the zombies, when they are within 1 space of a hero, they have to move toward the hero. They can't move away from them. It's kind of, I believe they call it the hunger.
And it's a tactic that the heroes can use to their advantage to draw them away from the building. In this particular scenario, they're trying to get into the manor, and you want to keep them out of the manor, so you can move right next to them. They'll move here, and maybe your next turn you move out, and you. Yeah, it's a tactic to bring the zombies and lead them where you want them to.
How's that work for you?
Nothing works for us in this game. We'll talk about that later. Nothing. The hero turn, Andrew on the end there and I, we didn't introduce ourselves, by the way. Sorry, should we do that real quick?
Yeah.
I'm Brian.
Adam.
Andrew.
Patrick.
Okay, and Brian and Andrew, myself and Andrew, we're usually the heroes, so you can move or search a building if you're in a building. You search, you draw a card, hopefully get a weapon or something, usually not. Then after that, you can exchange items with any other hero who's in the same square as you. Then you can shoot a ranged weapon if you're lucky enough to have like a shotgun or a revolver. And then finally fight zombies, which would be like the hand-to-hand fending them off that are in the same square as you. That's basically the game in a nutshell. So where do we want to start with first on this thing?
I think the heroes have a lot of bones to pick, so maybe they should start off.
Andrew, I'll let you get started. I know you felt very strongly this last game.
It's there's many things that it's very difficult, but...
Yeah, let me ask you first. Why do you have a bone? How many times have we played this game, and how many times have the humans won?
We've played, I want to say we're at about
2 or 3 wins.
Out of 10 games,
Probably.
if I had to guess. Right around 10.
How many of those did we play by the actual rules?
9 out of 10 of those games, so they actually won one game.
I think we played the first couple by the rules.
We've
till
tried
we
a few
decided,
house rules.
Yeah, and then we tried a couple different table rules in variation a few different times, and some of them work and some of them don't.
If you don't get it, we've tried to balance the game out. The heroes have discovered they think the game is a little heavily balanced towards the zombies.
The zombies don't have a problem.
No, I think we're doing pretty fine.
I don't think the zombies have a problem.
Of course
with
they
this
don't.
over.
And when you search online, in our defense, there are forums dedicated to, wow, the zombies are terrible. But then I also found just as many forums people complain that no, the heroes always win at our table. At our table, it is definitely
they obviously play
the
with better
zombies.
heroes.
So, Andrew, what is your discussion?
My main thing is that on each character you've got points, and some characters have wound points of 3, and some of them have 2. And then some of them, like the younger characters that have 2, if you give up your turn, you can completely heal. But if you get into a place with 3 zombies and you only have 2 hit points, you could easily die
in one round.
Done. And you're done. And then they get control of that character.
And you need to remember, if they lose 4 heroes at any time during any of the scenarios, they automatically lose the game.
Right, and since it is a dice rolling by chance, I mean, there's some skill to it, not really. But and of course, Pat just brings his own weighted dice. Just throwing that out there.
This boy rolls 6s like there's no tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and this is the only game because any other game he rolls like 2s all the time.
And then the other complaint is when you are another house rule we tried is normally zombies win on a tie, which again it just beats us up. So we tried nobody wins on a tie. Heroes win on a tie. One time that made it too easy.
Yeah.
And the rules are probably balanced as it is. You just really, really have to use strategy and think.
I think what we were talking about before we started filming this tonight is we've tried all these variations of, changing the way that the rules work out when you're fighting, so maybe it's a little better for the heroes. I think Andrew and I came to that kind of consensus that it's not the fights and the way they play out that's the problem, it's the number of wound markers that each hero can take. If they had maybe 1 more hit point each, and there might be maybe a couple more healing cards in the deck, that might help it out a lot. Give them 4 hit points or 3 hit points depending on the character.
I think I hadn't thought about this. I think you just hit on something else. Is we have this huge deck, and some of the scenarios require. There's one where there's a truck in the middle of the map,
right?
And you need to find gasoline. And maybe it's 2 gas. You need to find a couple gas cans, get them back to the truck, and then you need to get back there with the keys. And the only way to get there is you have to go to the outside usually, where the buildings are spread out. Search, and you draw the top card. There are only 2 keys in this huge deck. It took us forever. We couldn't win that scenario. There are not enough gas cans. There's just a lot of filler junk cards, I think, in a scenario that says, no, you have to find the keys and get there. But it's not going to happen. There's 2.
And the thing is, though, I mean, in this huge deck,
you don't get
even with 4 players, if everybody searched, except for 1 character can search 2 cards, but that's only, even if they've searched just 4 cards per turn, on 15 turns, I don't even know if you get all the way through the deck.
And to kind of give
if you get through the deck, the game's over.
You shut the hell up.
As a zombie player, my biggest complaint is whiny humans. Now, whiny humans are the worst part of this game whatsoever. I mean,
remember, we played this 10 times, and I think the last 3 times we got to watch the heroes like hawks because they're randomly flipping through the deck. They're re-rolling dice.
No.
You're supposed to draw a hero at random. When you die, you can draw a new hero, and this will be at random.
the humans are a little bitter about this. Now, the one thing I have to say, I personally think that it's well balanced. I think what is happening is that we need humans with a little bit better strategy, a little bit better logic. We need humans that actually...
This is coming from zombies, too.
All right, I'm out of here.
Let me give you an example. The first time
I can't sit at home and be insulted by my wife. I don't need to come here to game night for this.
First example. The first time we played the Attack of the Mansion, or whatever the scenario is called. What are the humans? The idea is 9 zombies get into the house. They automatically win. What do the humans do? They ditch the house. They totally abandon.
We have 9 zombies in the house. 3 turns.
Okay. In our defense, we thought that you
only...
just had to last the 15 days or 17 days. We didn't know that there was a certain amount of zombies.
And also, in our defense, that is only entirely true. But you can't search in we had to leave the search to find weapons. That was our thought at the time.
And we had no problem. We just congaed in there.
We waltzed in. There was no defense.
You know how they say you can't walk into mortar? We walked into Mordor.
But the best part is they all had the mansion. We just lived in the rest of the town.
Yeah, we just let them have the
we were having a rave.
big manor.
I call that a win-win.
Okay, we've got one complaint is we feel the difficulty needs a little tweaking.
The human players felt that
Yeah, I don't know what
The zombies also at one point were a little bit tired of, I think, whooping, and that's when we started
I've
doing house
never had a
rules.
problem winning.
I felt bad because they kept crying. I mean, I
that's
felt
true. That's
fetal
true.
position. There was tears. It was.
There
really
was this last game was legitimate, and we
Don't make me come over this table.
survived a while without any house rules.
half the game. You survived half the
They
game.
made it over half.
That
Last,
was good. Okay, that was good.
last game was actually
Okay.
pretty good.
Let's move on from difficulty. That's a sore point.
One thing that I like about these, talking about the benefits of the game, I like the graphics, and these pieces are amazing. The detail of the actual character pieces, the tokens, are amazingly detailed. Now, if we could get somebody who knew how to paint, it would be better. But
I think we have three different types of zombies. So there's multiple sculpts. Every hero is unique and detailed. I agree.
and the cards themselves, the images on the cards, they actually went out and photoed and.
Yeah, they actually got I think it's friends of the developers or something like that. They thank them in the back of the book, but they actually did photos of people in like zombie makeup to
and
do
it's
it.
amazing.
Like these
Very
people on the
detailed.
people on the front of this box are actual people.
Let's
I mean,
hold that up there.
And if you're on the audio cast, just
again, not
imagine.
helping.
It's a
Look it up on the internet while you're listening.
It's a little bit cheesy, but actually I
Google
think
one?
that adds to the game because it gives it that really B horror movie vibe, like
Oh,
like
definitely
the original
B
Evil
horror
Dead,
vibe.
One of
super low budget.
One of the cool things
Cool.
about it too that we've never done is it actually comes with the soundtrack that you're supposed to play.
We should be playing that right now.
It's a little bit of like spooky music in the back. I don't know what it is, but you're supposed to have that, playing. So that's kind of a neat, kind of B movie thing too. The one downside I think to the entire quality of the pieces is the board itself. It's
Not sitting
It's
flat.
made up of 5 pieces, so 4 corners and 1 centerpiece all the time. And they don't stick together well. Somebody bumps it, the pieces are going to go flying. There's nothing to really lock them in place.
And they warp.
And they were.
The centerpiece is pretty bad, actually.
I think I've been spoiled by Tobago, another game we love at this table, where they actually have locking pieces that hold, when you have a multiple piece playing board out there, it actually
There we
holds
go.
them in place so they wouldn't slide around like this. I think that'd be a great
Wizards
idea.
of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons tiles, where they actually just have little pieces cut into them, so they can
It's like a puzzle.
puzzle
Yeah, I mean-
that they'd fit into. You wouldn't lose anything. You just cut around that. It would.
I think that would
so
be great
quickly.
because that's just one thing. Like you said, they do warp if you don't have them in a place. It's it has the right humidity level, I guess. But also even beyond that, they just don't stay together very well. It's really hard to line.
Our point is, you shouldn't have to buy a humidor for your games. Really, that kind of
No,
takes
no.
away-
Humidor adds. You don't want that.
Well, I mean, you don't have to
Is
buy.
that what I've been
a,
doing wrong?
I've been adding water into my basement.
No, I mean you shouldn't have to buy a specially contained.
The artwork on the boards, though, it's not totally
It is.
dog. It is pretty cool.
No,
There's little
it's
blood
good.
stains and broken down vehicles, and it's kind of darker and grim looking, and
Yeah, and
it's really cool.
You do have, I think it's 6 corner pieces, and then you have just the 1 centerpiece, which would dump those guys off. But it is
Double-sided.
two-sided. You can either do the manor scenario, where you can lose it in 3 turns for the heroes, or you can do the side with the well on it, which is the normal side you start with.
Now, we've been dogging the base set, but what needs to be also mentioned is that there are several expansions out for it now. Some expansions favor the human players, some expansions favor the zombie players, some expansions favor both.
The one thing I'll throw out there in the expansions, I actually have one of them which we haven't gotten to even play yet.
Because the humans want to defeat us on this one, so we might never break
Yeah,
that
it
out.
just depends
that's
on
not
whatever
the
it
case.
gets.
Somebody just hasn't read the rules yet.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to play.
Now,
it.
I've read it. The rules on this get kind of complicated as it is. There's a lot of nuances to it. The cards you draw alter those rules.
You need to be able
some
to
degree.
read.
That's a problem for some of us. But the expansion actually adds even more rules in. They give items to the zombies, which normally the zombies can't carry items. They add barricades in that can
Which
be
sounds
moved around.
cool.
So it takes a game that's fairly complicated as it is as far as the rules, and we've had to, I don't know how many times, go to the wiki to try to figure out what exactly is meant by wins a fight or anything like that. And then you go and you throw even more rules on top of it. So I think it can get a little complicated, even though you do have the benefit of all the
But there are a lot
expansions.
of. Well, I think there's at least 5 expansions.
Oh wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah,
that.
there's at least 3 out now. There might be more, and there's 2 coming very soon. Like a Gen Con is going on right now as we film this, or just ended, and they showed off 2 pretty big expansions. So there's quite a bit to add to this game if you like it enough and want to.
And there was something else that we have, and we do have another game, the Alien game. I'm sorry, what's...
Oh,
I guess
Invasion
it's-
from Space or something, the Martian game.
all the this genre of game by Flying Frog Productions can actually be used with each other. So you can actually combine zombies versus aliens versus humans too. We have never done that, but that's kind of a fun thing. You can mix. It's like the ultimate
It becomes a
B horror
very
movie.
expensive proposition at that point, though. But I mean, cool.
But we have several, and we could if we wanted to, we could do that and really shake up the game and change.
And then the last components, the cards are really nice plastic. They're a little, you get a lot of glare if there's a light right above, but really high quality.
I mean, the benefit of the Martian
cards.
game is we could beat them with Martians instead of zombies.
Oh, there we go.
Notice how I'm trying to move on.
Yeah, wow.
And then
I think the Martians would totally be on the.
You know what we
human
should
side.
say? We should have made a call out to beautiful
comment on
firefighters,
these.
unicorns, and humans that could actually win this game. Things that
things that don't exist.
That's true.
But another great thing about it is that the player cards are very sturdy.
Yeah.
They're super thick. But, another great thing is each character does have, I don't think we mentioned this before, a special ability. Like the sheriff, he gets to draw through the hero deck, pulls out a revolver automatically. And then some of the characters can heal. And some of them, like Billy here, he can move an extra space. He rolls a 3, he can move 4 spaces.
They're a little warped. Oh, again, the warping comes in.
They do warp just like the board does, but they're made of the same thick cardboard.
When I stop adding water to it, that had itself out.
and humans
Now that
might
we know.
The humans might have a better chance if they actually read their card every round and remembered some of their special. That's one of the downsides.
That is one of the downsides.
Is
too,
it's
is
hard
they
to
do
remember
forget.
all their
the,
abilities.
the first time we played it, they actually didn't even know they had those abilities. We
That's
just jumped
true.
into the game, played it. They got to the end and realized, holy crap, we could have been healing our people this entire time.
And it is hard. I mean, there's
That
so
was pretty
much
embarrassing.
different options on them that unless you're constantly reading your character, there's easy to forget.
And that gets to the complexity.
And this makes
of
us sound stupid, but this was one of the first big, heavy games that we got. Like, when we first started getting into board gaming, we picked this up. So we've had it for a while. That's why we've been able to play, like, 10 or 12 2-hour games. When you're not used to this kind of heavy game, and you grew up with Monopoly and Clue, it was just a lot for one of our first games.
I think it's a complex game.
Why we made stupid mistakes.
all around,
let's
though.
just say it.
You have the rules, then you have these things that alter the rules, and then you have the cards that alter the
And
rules.
some
I
of
mean,
the
you have so many-
terminology
some of
is
the
not
wording.
clear, such
Yeah.
as the term, what does the term win means.
Not necessarily a bad thing,
Right,
but
and
it's
the
just,
thing is that even there's some zombie cards that like say you can only roll 1 fight dice instead of 2, but then there's another character that says he gets to roll an extra fight dice, so it counters it. So you got to remember every time that you only roll 2 instead of 3, but then you're not rolling 1. So then the zombies have to kind of almost remember the heroes.
I don't even know what he's saying. That's how complex it gets.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's the other side of the table kind of has to remember if they laid a card down that your attribute counteracts their card. It gets very, very
Yeah,
complicated.
and there's a lot of
at some
statistics
points.
that you have to keep track of, and not number-wise, but just data of who can do
Right.
what, where can you go with this, and cards can really mix that up too.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very complicated. Before we go on grading it, the one thing I do want to mention about this game, this is definitely more of a adult. It says 12 and up. The theme on this, I think, might be a little because some of the graphics on it are pretty intense.
It has a comment here. Go ahead. I'll find it.
It says it says 12 and up. I have a 12 and a 14-year-old. I think it's actually more mature than that, just because some of the images on the card are pretty intense.
And they even say here, Last Night on Earth, the zombie game, contains graphic horror, movie imagery, and some mild adult themes, though most of it is often presented in tongue-in-cheek fashion. For this reason, the game is aimed at an audience of 12 to 100, and then it makes a little joke about being 100 and a zombie and blah, blah, blah. But I'd say at least 12.
It
Some
depends
of
on
the
your
cards,
12-year-old.
some of the makeup and stuff. I mean, it is just a board game at the same time, and let's face it, 12-year-olds see way worse than this all the time.
That's very true.
But I don't know. I guess it just know your kids well before you bust this out.
I'd be more afraid of a 12-year-old not grasping the whole concept of the game versus actually seeing the blood and guts and yada
It
yada.
is.
In
There's
this
a lot
day
of
and
parts of
age,
it.
true.
There's a lot of things that you have to keep track of that 12-year-old might not quite grasp.
So we got everything out of our system.
Are we ready
Want to grade it?
Did I mention that the zombies are way overpowered in
Did
this
we mention
game?
that the
That's
humans
just
whine
saying that.
a lot during the game and
So-
cheat like
Here we go on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 would be a terrible, broken, unplayable piece of garbage. 5 is okay, don't ever really need to play it again. And then 10 would be amazing, must buy.
I'm honestly going to give it a 9. I love this
What?
game. I never win. Hey, I do. I love playing this game. Every time I play it, I do. Even though I don't win that often, I've never
the
played
zombies
as
stand up and applaud
zombies.
you. It's
I do. It's just, I mean, when you look at the cards, I mean, it's human pictures. They're very well made. enjoy the gameplay. It is difficult at times, and some table rules help that along. The scenarios are fun. All the possibilities of expansions, everything else. The board is, I mean, it just fits a zombie movie in my eyes, a B-zombie movie anyway. Nothing.
Which is sometimes the best kind, though.
Right. I mean, it makes me feel good that I get to kill a zombie. Whether I win or lose, at least I get to kill zombies, and that's my favorite thing. So I'm sticking with a 9. I really enjoy the game.
I am surprised.
Every time somebody says you want to play, I never say no. I just love playing the game.
I'm actually gonna jump on board with Andrew and say a 9.
Where were you guys for Formula D?
I wasn't involved. Hey, one of the main reasons this holds a special place in my heart. It was my first board game that I actually bought, and I brought to the table.
Cheapskate.
I brought two.
Oh, 2. I'm sorry. You're right.
I had a few given to me. So it has a special spot for that reason. The zombie theme really kind of gets me.
Who talked you into buying this game again, though? Somebody with an impeccable, amazing taste. I believe he's also very handsome.
I didn't talk to him.
Jeez.
Another reason I kind of like it is up until about a year ago, I was really into video games a lot. I loved the game Left 4 Dead on the Xbox. It reminds me a lot of that. It's kind of a Left 4 Dead board game, dice game. It's a lot of fun. The pieces and everything are well made. I think it is, I'll admit, a little heavily balanced towards the zombies. I think there's a few changes that could be made to give it a little more of an equal footing for everybody on board. But I just really like it. I have a lot of fun. Part of the fun of it is, the heroes
winning.
is winning. Part of the fun is the heroes complaining and whining and trying to sneak their cheats into the game where they're digging through the deck or re-rolling dice. I mean, it adds kind of a dynamic to the game that we don't get with a lot of other games we play. So I'd have to give it a 9.
There's a lot of arguments during this game. There are
a lot is an understatement.
A lot, usually because we are trying to cheat. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, we're just hoping we can get one past them.
I think the last game we finished, they both admitted to cheating at least
several
twice.
times, and we were kind of like
No,
time.
attempted cheating.
No, there was a setup of the 10 cards at the beginning, I believe.
Revolvers at the top of the deck.
Two revolvers at the top of the deck.
Anyway, and actually I was halfway through the game when we had to discard the
And it was the same revolver.
Let's not get bogged down in details.
I'm going to piggyback off something he said is when I first started getting into games, and this is one of the first ones, I was explaining why I'm giving what I'm giving it, okay? Just chill, son. It was explained to me as, people know I like video games. Oh, yeah, it's like Left 4 Dead. And I immediately I lit up because Left 4 Dead is amazing. We used to play that online together all the time. And I thought, 4 players fighting the zombies, awesome. And I was thinking it was purely a co-op game. I thought, you get this hero, I'll take one, you take one. And then the zombies, maybe like Gears of War, there are a lot of games where they kind of play themselves through cards and special rules. And I thought, sweet. And people said, oh yeah, there's all these cool scenarios, like the one where you have to get the gas and get the truck and then escape town, or you have to protect the mansion. And so I thought, it's exactly like Left 4 Dead, 4 survivors duking it out. And then I looked online and saw the pictures, and again, I'm a sucker for beautiful components, I'm not going to lie, it looks great. But then when Adam bought the game, and he said, no, somebody's got to be and I'll just use this term because everybody knows it, the dungeon master and control the bad guys, it totally took the wind out of my sails, and I was like, oh, so it's not just a co-op game, and I was really wanting to work together against the zombies. So I was prepared for a 10, and then I was let down when I kind of learned what the game really was.
And you
That's
lost
not
9
saying
times.
Are we getting to a number in this review?
But I'm telling a story. It all started with a boy in this dream of this beautiful board game, which you crapped all over. So I do like the game. I had different expectations, and sometimes when you go into a movie expecting one thing, you can be let down. So that's why I'm not going to give it a 9. I would have, but I'm going to have to go. I'm sorry, a 7. I enjoy playing it, and when you guys recommend it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll play it, but there are things I'd rather be playing. I would never probably turn down a game of Last Night on Earth, but there are games I'd rather play more, and I really wanted it to be a 4-player all against them.
I need to test this or Manhattan Project.
Duh! That is not even a question. How's
Manhattan Project.
No.
What the hell?
No. Okay, I'm done now. Actually, no, go ahead.
I'm going to give it a 9, and I'm not going to go in because after that statement, if I try to explain why I'd have a 9, this would be like a 3-hour film. It's just a fun game. It's
So there you have it. It is a 7.
it's a fun game.
I think this is
We've
the
had a
first
lot of
time he's limiting his talking.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I think you guys covered it all. It's a 9. It's a fun game. We've had a lot of fun breaking it out. So.
I guess I'm overruled. I mean, it is a good game. Again, it's even on our scale. 7 is good. Now I look like a jerk. I'm sorry.
Even not playing the game, you lose.
Yeah. Even talking about the game, I'm a loser.
Well, there you have it.
Thanks for watching. Next week we'll be reviewing.
What are we doing next week?
I don't know if we
I believe I threw a Cosmic Encounter, so we'll do Cosmic Encounter.
Cosmic Encounter.
We'll do a Cosmic Encounter
This
next
is
time.
this is a real organized group, if you can tell.
See you later.
Thank you for checking out Meeples on Meeples. This episode was Last Night on Earth from Flying Frog Productions. Also, check us out at meeplesonmeeples.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks, and check us out next week.